I'm making this video because I've had a lot of people ask me recently, where's the best place to play PLO cash games in Vegas? You know, everyone's kind of preparing for their WSOP trip. So I'm gonna run through the different options and then give you my opinion towards the end. When people think of PLO cash games in Vegas, they pretty much always think of the Aria first. It typically has the most PLO cash game action. You know, I know they do offer some higher stakes games, but I'm just gonna focus on the 1-2 and the 5-5 rock. So the 1-2 game has a $200 minimum buy-in up to a $500 maximum. The 5-5 rock game has a $400 minimum up to a $2K maximum buy-in. While I only have experience playing the 1-2 game at the Aria, the 5-5 rock game I heard is pretty good. I chatted with some different people, including ZefaPoker. I'll link his channel down below. He's also a PLO vlogger. He's been living in Vegas for a while, so he was really nice and giving me some insight here to share with you guys. So for those of you not familiar with the 5-5 rock structure, the rock is actually a $10 chip in a plastic case. So when you win a pot, you become the rock for the next hand, and the pre-flop action will start to the left of whoever the rock is. So it does kind of add a different element to it. Post-flop play is going to be the same thing though. So the $10 rock essentially acts as a mandatory $10 straddle. 1-2 game at Aria is pretty good. You probably saw a session that I played back in November at last year's WSOP. I also played a session at the Aria last month, which you guys will actually see next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. I felt it was pretty good, probably slightly above average. You know, so definitely Aria could be a pretty good choice for you to consider if you're trying to play some PLO cash games this year. As I just mentioned, you guys will see the Aria session I played last month here next week. I'm also going to be making a pretty big announcement during that video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But if you're not going to play at the Aria, your next best bet would be at the Wynn. They also offer a 1-2 and a 5-5 rock game. The 1-2 allows you to buy in $200 minimum up to a 1K max. The 5-5 rock game allows you to buy in $500 minimum up to a 3K maximum buy-in. So, you know, they do let you to buy in a little bit deeper. So if you are a player that likes deeper stack play, the Wynn could definitely be a better option for you than the Aria. In terms of the 5-5 rock game compared to the Aria 5-5 rock game, ZefaPoker said it's pretty similar. He hasn't played much of the 1-2 $5 bring-in recently. I have, you know, you probably saw some sessions of that I played in November. I think the Wynn game is, you know, a little bit different in that they allow you to buy in deeper, as I just mentioned, but also they allow you to do $20 double board bomb pots. You know, it is optional. There was some people at the table that decided not to do them, but for anyone that wants to, you can put in $20 and then it immediately will go to 2 flops. So kind of adds a different element. I know some people are pretty familiar with them. You know, any of you who play in Texas, you definitely know about bomb pots. There is some casinos here. I know Hustler up in LA also offers them. They're pretty fun, but if you haven't played them, they are definitely a little bit, you know, different, and it takes a little bit getting used to. I did also want to cover a third casino that offers PLO. I actually played a session at this casino the last time I was there, and that's Resorts World. I don't believe they run a consistent PLO game, with the exception of their Tuesday bomb pot only game. According to PokerAtlas, it starts at about 4 o'clock. I did talk to a couple viewers. They said it's a pretty fun game. I personally believe that bomb pots are best every dealer change, you know, which is what they do at the Wynn, like I mentioned. But if you're somebody that is, you know, a little bit sicker than me and you want to play bomb pots every single hand, this is definitely a fun game to check out. I plan on playing it at least once or twice, you know, in the couple weeks I'll be there. So if you're going to be around on Tuesday, you know, definitely consider checking it out here at Resorts World. In terms of where I would recommend playing, I believe the Wynn was a slightly better game. One, because it has the double board bomb pots. And, you know, really a couple of the days I played there in November, the game was, I'd say, you know, maybe average to slightly above average, but the double board bomb pots really loosened up the game. You know, as I mentioned, it is kind of a newer concept. A lot of people don't really know how to play them, so it kind of adds an interesting element, and, you know, definitely makes the game a lot better than it would be otherwise. So, you know, Aria felt like it was a little bit more reg heavy, you know, whereas Wynn, you could buy in deeper bomb pots, plus, you know, you're going to get more recreation players. So mostly I'll be at the Wynn. I am going to be playing on June 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. I will be at the Resorts World playing the bomb pot only game on the 7th, but the 6th, 8th, and 9th, I'll be at the Wynn. So if you're going to be in town, definitely come by and say hi, and I'd like to meet a lot of you guys. Now I'm just going to give you a couple things that I do in preparation for different trips I make. But before I do that, I wanted to say that the biggest reason that I make these trips, including Texas, Vegas, I'm going now back for the second straight year in a row. The biggest reason really is just to meet a lot of you guys. While poker players do tend to be pretty introverted, I'm no different there. I really do enjoy just kind of going out to different places, meeting people. The WSOP is great because you pretty much get people from all over the country and, internationally as well that will travel there to obviously, take part in the great WSOP action. I don't really play too many tournaments, but as I mentioned to some of you guys, I am going to play the $600 PLO tournament towards the end of the month. And definitely looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys there. One of the first things I do in preparation for a bigger trip like this is I don't typically play the week beforehand. When I go to the WSOP, I know I'm going to be playing a lot longer sessions. I'm going to be playing more hours than I typically would put in back home. So because of that, I like to take the week off prior just to kind of mentally recharge, prepare for the upcoming, bigger workload that I'm going to get. Another thing I do, or in this case don't do, is I don't like to play on the same day I'm going to be traveling for a long distance. So coming from San Diego, driving up to Vegas, I have about a 4.5 hour, 5 hour trip, depending on traffic. And I don't really plan on playing those days that I'm driving to and from. In my earlier days, I did kind of drive long distances and I would play in the same day, and it just didn't work out for me. I've also had friends that have had similar experiences, so that's just something for me. If you're coming from like the East Coast and you have about a 5 hour flight in, maybe I would recommend not playing on that day just to ensure that you're going to be as close to 100% as possible. The other thing I recommend is to have a plan. Now, obviously, you don't have to plan out every single thing you're going to do there, but if you're planning on doing some events, you obviously have to do some research ahead of time to see kind of when these specific events are going on. If you're going to be playing cash games, you should have an idea of kind of when you're going to be playing, what times the games will start, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to be putting all the information that I talked about in the video in the description below. So definitely check that out if you have any questions. So in summary, I recommend the Wynn to play at. I'll be there pretty much most of the time. I'm going to be in Vegas. So definitely, come say hi to me. I really do appreciate all the support and would definitely like to meet a lot of you guys. Just a reminder, you will be seeing the Aria session that I played last month next week. I am going to have a pretty big announcement in there, so definitely stay tuned for that. And if you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.